Hi fellow crocheters, it's Janet with bddpatterns.com. Thank you so much for stopping by today. In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to crochet the Isabel blanket or Afghan in any size using any yarn. Let's get started. Now if you purchase the pattern, you can open that and go to the chart that I've included in the pattern. If you just want to make your blanket or throw from this video, that's fine too, because I tell you exactly how to make a custom size one. The chart in the pattern is for those people that paid for the pattern. They can use that chart to determine what size they want from a lovey all the way up to a king size. And I'll have the link to the written pattern in the description below. The first thing that you're going to want to know is what your width is. And that is that's going to determine your stitches. Now in the sample that I made, I used a 3-inch border on each edge. So you're going to want to calculate your border on each side into that width. So in other words, in order for me to get the horizontal part of my blanket, I need to calculate that by my overall finished width less 6 inches, and that would be 3 inches for each side of the border. So in my sample, I used Lion Brand Respun, which is a number 6. I'm using a faded denim to demonstrate today because it is a little easier to see the stitches, but that one I used a whipped cream, and I highly recommend this yarn. It's just beautiful. It does shed a little bit, but it feels like wool, and it just works up and washes great. I'm also I used a 9mm hook, but again, the point of this pattern or tutorial is to show you that you could use any yarn with any hook to create the size that you want. All right, so we need to be working over a total of an even number of stitches. So I'm going to demonstrate with this swatch over 12 stitches. So what that means is I have to crochet an even amount of stitches plus 1 for the turning chain. So I'm going to have to crochet 13 stitches. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so get your chain, and if you're doing this as a gauge swatch, go ahead and get that going. Just make your chain at least an inch over the 4 inches so that you've got some room to play with. Okay, let's get into the foundation chain. I am a big proponent of doing my foundation chains always now, unless there's a reason why, and it's very rare that there is, into the back bump of the chain. And that is because when I add my border, it's just easy. It's just a single crochet stitch on the first row like it is on the last row. So find that second bump from your hook, which is right here, okay, and just go into that and single crochet. So again, I chained 13. Now I'm going to be working over 12 stitches. My gauge for this size hook and this yarn was actually 10 stitches by 10 rows. All right, I'll meet back when I get all my 12 stitches single crocheted. Okay, now I have 12 single crochet stitches. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn. Now I'm on row 2. So I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch. I split my yarn a little bit, sorry about that. I'm going to then chain 1. I'm going to skip the next stitch and I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next stitch. And I'm going to do that across. And because I am working with an even number of stitches, I'll show you what that last stitch looks like. The last stitch will be after you've single crocheted, you single crocheted here, sorry, chain 1, single crochet. This would be in stitch number 11 for my pattern. Now you're going to single crochet into the last stitch, chain 1 and turn, row 3, single crochet into the first stitch, chain 1. Now that's going to put you in that space where you skipped that stitch and you chained 1. You're just going to single crochet into that space, chain 1, single crochet into the next space, so you're skipping a stitch, chain 1, skip this stitch, single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into that last chain 1 space, and now you're going to single crochet again into that last stitch, chain 1 and turn. Okay, so now you could probably guess that what we're doing is we're just going to repeat row 3. We're single crocheting into the first stitch, we're chaining 1 and skipping 1, single crocheting into that next chain 1 space, chain 1, skipping 1, single crochet, 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 and then your last stitch will always be going forward a single crochet. You turn 1 and you repeat it. So I worked my pattern in rows of, I did 13, I did 1 row, sorry, stuttering there, 1 row of the single crochet to start, of course. Then I did 13 rows of this basket weave stitch, which is where you do the single crochet into the chain 1. And my gauge worked out to be that section, those 13 rows were actually with the single crochet row that I'm going to add now. That gave me 5 inches. So that was easy for me to build the height of my blanket, knowing that those 13 rows and that 1 single crochet row were going to give me a total of 5 inches. This pattern is so versatile that you could make any size stripe, any size, whatever. But what's going to happen here is that when in my pattern, when you get to the 13th row, when you've completed this, then on row 14 you're just going to do a single crochet stitch in each stitch across. You're not going to skip any. You're going to single crochet into the stitch and single crochet into the chain 1 space all the way across. And what that does is it gives you the illusion that you've created like a stripe. There's definitely a division there. It's very subtle, it's very modern, but that's how the pattern works. Okay, here's the original Isabel blanket, and as you can see here, right here is the single crochet rows, then the basket weave stitch here. Okay, that's the 13 rows, and then to divide it, you just simply do another single crochet row, and that's how you get this look where there is like a slight illusion of a stripe, and that's what adds texture to it. So you can determine the height of your stripe. It's that easy. Just make it however you want to make it according to your gauge, and then when you're ready to get that break and to create that stripe, that's when you go in with that single crochet row. Okay, so after that single crochet row, we're just going to repeat the same dealio all over again. We're going to single crochet into the first, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, all the way across. And I'm going to do this so that I can demonstrate how easy it is to add the border. But first, what I want to do is I'm doing mine. If you can see my pattern here, my first row was a single crochet, which yours should be too. And then I had 3 rows of the basket weave stitch. And then I had the 4th row of the single crochet, which is what gives me that illusion of a thinner stripe here. So I'm just going to go ahead now, and I'm going to repeat that 3rd row this time and one more time. So I've got my stripe. Then I'm going to show you how to add your edging. So now in my sample, I have a total of 9 rows. The first row was single crochet. The next 3 were the basket weave. The next one was a single crochet. The next 3 were basket, and the last one was a single crochet. So that means I need to place 9 stitches going along the edge. So in order for me to do that, we're going to single crochet, because in the border that I created is a back loop single crochet stitch. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just going to single crochet back into the same stitch. And then I'm going to continue along, and I'm going to make sure that I have 9 stitches, 9 single crochet stitches going along the edge, because that's how many rows I have. So just make sure you're hitting those evenly. Now when you come to the end, check that, because let me show you 2, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I knew I should have 8. Now this last one, I go right into where the knot is, because I just want to tidy it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and single crochet right into that. So I have 9 rows, and now I'm working this edge of the border. So however wide you want your border, I always single crochet into the first stitch, even if I'm doing a back loop, because that way I just feel that it's more secure. If you're only going into 1 loop on the edge, that just gives you a chance to catch the edge, pull the yarn, whatever. And if you do a single crochet into that first and last stitch, then you won't have any problems. Then again, we're just doing a back loop. So I'm working over 9 stitches here. I don't know how many rows you've got going, but you just want to do that, and then work your center stitches into that, in that back loop, single crochet, and then your first and your last stitch, anchor it with just a regular single crochet. Okay, let's do that one more time. Chain 1 and turn, single crochet into the first stitch, back loop single crochet into the next however many stitches you've got, but don't do it in that last stitch. Reserve that last stitch for just a regular single crochet. Okay, now you can see the texture is starting to come alive here. See that? And that's all it is. So you make your edge as wide as you want, fasten off, weave your tail, do the same on this edge. Okay, then when you're done with the same amount of rows on this last edge here, then you're going to want to single crochet into wherever you end. If you end in this particular case, if I start here and I do an odd number, I'm going to end here. If I start here and I do an even number of rows, then I'm going to end back where I started. So however many rows you want for the width of your border. Okay, and when you end when you get to that last row of your second edge border, then go ahead, single crochet, all right, into that same stitch, and then do a single crochet border however many stitches you want. I did 3 rows, and then I fastened off, and then I just joined, and then I did 3 rows on the bottom so that it was all even. And that's how you make the Isabel Afghan. Happy crocheting!